The man, Silas Wormald, cried. I am a man of great influence. I own the Paradise Towers. To thank you, you and your roommates can have the 3-bedroom penthouse, rent-free for a year. Jules ran home. Pack your bags. We're moving to the sky. They told Bumble off. They laughed in his face. They started packing their boxes. I'm going to have a walk-in closet for my shoes, Bibi squealed. They invited Silas over for a thank-you dinner. Mr. Wormald, she asked, where exactly is Paradise Towers? Oh, it's that away, he waved vaguely. And the 150 stories? Yes, very high. You can see the ocean if you look through the window. Sloane squinted. I've seen you before, choking. At the Gilded Pelican 2 months ago. Silas froze, a potato halfway to his mouth. He sighed. It's my hobby. If I don't choke, I have to pay the bill. If I choke, people feel sorry for me and pay it for me. Everyone feels good. And the penthouse? Jules asked, his heart dropping into his shoes. I'm sure it exists. Somewhere. Silas smiled, tipped an imaginary hat, and walked out, leaving them with a half-eaten bird and a very angry landlord downstairs. They had to crawl back to Bumble. Luckily, Bumble had his own crisis. He had tried to quit his job as manager to work for Silas, who had pulled the same scam on him, only to realize he was unemployed. They made a pact of silence. They wouldn't tell his brother he tried to quit, and he wouldn't evict them. Chapter 6. The Rose and the Rogue. The apartment's next visitor was Leo, an elderly man Bibi had found sitting on a park bench. He has no home, Jules. He was going to sleep on a park bench and stuff his shirt with newspapers. Jules, being a soft touch, let Leo stay. Leo proceeded to take over Jules's bed, hog the bathroom, and read aloud from his thriller novels at 3 a.m. Jack, I'm sorry for calling you stupid, Leo said from the other side of the bed. It's okay, Leo. I'm sorry for calling you old. You remind me of myself when I was your age, Leo mused. Only I was better looking. Leo, wanting to show his appreciation, decided to pick some flowers for the roommates. Unfortunately, he picked Barnaby Bumble's prize-winning roses, the ones Bumble had been nursing with coffee grounds for months. My roses. Someone stole my children. Bumble's wail could be heard through the floorboards. Jules spent the afternoon hiding Leo in the closet and trying to convince Bumble that the rosebuds on the table were actually cake decorations. The chaos peaked when Jules's date, the beautiful but snobbish Vivienne Valeska, arrived. Vivienne hated clutter, and Leo was the ultimate human clutter. Jack, get rid of that broken-down old man, Vivienne hissed. Who would you rather have, him or me? Jules looked at Leo, who was currently trying to put out a small fire he'd started in the bedroom with a cigar. Then he looked at Vivienne's cold, perfect face. No contest, Jules said. Get out, Vivienne. What? Leo stays. You go. He's a nuisance, but he's our nuisance. But Leo eventually found a new home with 2 ladies his own age, promising a living arrangement just as innocent as yours, leaving Jules, Sloane, and Bibi to wonder what they'd be like in 50 years. I'll be a famous chef, Jules said. Sloane will be a florist to the stars. And Bibi, you'll still be hogging the bathroom. I will not, Bibi pouted. I'll be much faster by then. It only takes me an hour now. Chapter 7. The Great Escape. To Poison Oak. The final act of their Sun Haven summer took place in the mountains. Dex had borrowed his boss's cabin and invited everyone. To impress a beautiful actress named Laura, Dex told her that Jules was a famous movie director from Japan. He's very big in Tokyo, Dex whispered. He's looking for a face for his next commercial. Laura spent the entire weekend throwing herself at Jules, who was just trying to get 5 minutes of sleep. Director Vance, can you use me? Please use me, she begged, trying to pose dramatically on a log. I'm not a director, Jules finally snapped, standing in a hammock. I'm a chef. I make hollandaise sauce, not movies. Laura's face fell. She turned to Dex and called him a fraudulent grease monkey before storming off. The cabin was a disaster. It was a shack, not a chalet. There was 1 bed, for 7 people. Vivian Valeska had followed them there. Barnaby Bumble had shown up looking for wild strawberries, and the hammock had dumped Jules into a patch of beautiful green leaves. "Look at these, Sloane. I'll wrap myself in them to keep warm," Jules had said earlier. By Sunday morning, Jules was a giant walking blister. "Poison oak," the doctor at the clinic said, suppressing a laugh. As they drove back to Sunhaven Bay, squeezed into Dex's cramped car, Jules looked at his roommates. Bibi was telling a story about a snake she saw that didn't charge. It just slithered. And Sloane was trying to figure out how to get strawberry stains out of her hiking boots. "You know," Jules said, scratching his arm with a spatula, "I think I'd rather be in apartment 4D with a broken shower curtain than anywhere else in the world." "Me too," Sloane smiled. "And me?" Bibi chirped. "But Jules, when we get home, can I use the bathroom first? I think I have some musk oil in my eye." Jules sighed, leaned his head back, and closed his eyes. It was home. It was chaos. It was perfect. The end. The Sapphire Sands Chronicles. A Tale of 3 Misfits. Prologue. The Unconventional Triangle. Veridia Coast was a city of sun-bleached sidewalks, neon-lit bars, and the salt-crusted Sapphire Sands apartment complex. Within the walls of apartment 4D, a social experiment was unfolding. One born of necessity and fueled by the high cost of coastal living. There was Julian Vance, an aspiring chef with a heart of gold and the coordination of a newborn giraffe. There was Jade Sterling, a sharp-witted florist who served as the trio's moral compass. And Cricket Winters, a bubbly secretary whose logic operated on a frequency only accessible to hummingbirds. Presiding over this chaos was Barnaby Bumblewick, the landlord. Barnaby was a man who believed himself to be the pinnacle of high fashion, usually appearing in polyester leisure suits that looked like they had been salvaged from a disco fire. Because of the building's strict no cohabitation rules for the unmarried, Julian lived there under a very specific, unspoken understanding. Barnaby believed Julian was harmless, a man whose interests lay more in soufflés than in his female roommates. This is their story, a story of burnt laundry, hospital heists, and the most disastrous camping trip in the history of the Western Seaboard. Chapter 1. The Concussion and the Curtain. The afternoon began with a smell that didn't belong in a kitchen. It wasn't the aroma of Julian's signature bechamel. It was the acrid scent of scorched lace. "Julian, why is the oven on?" Jade shouted, fanning the air. Julian skidded into the kitchen, nearly toppling a vase of Jade's lilies. "I'm drying my boxers. I have a date tonight. And the dryer in the basement is being held hostage by Mrs. Gunderson's quilts. We're going to be evicted because of your undergarments," Jade sighed. "Go help Cricket with the new shower curtain while I deal with the oven." Julian ducked into the bathroom. Cricket was standing on the edge of the porcelain tub, a mass of plastic rings between her teeth. "Oh, hi, Julian. I'll get in the tub, and then we can get it on," Cricket chirped, her words muffled by the rings. At that exact moment, the front door swung open. Barnaby Bumblewick marched in, wearing a hat that looked like it belonged to a Victorian sea captain. "Where is the man of the house? Where is the man of the house? I have a landlord complaint." Barnaby stopped dead. From the bathroom, Julian's voice echoed. "Cricket, stop talking and give me more action." "Unfold it first. It won't reach if you don't." Barnaby's eyes widened. He crept toward the bathroom door. "Rub-a-dub-dub, what's in the tub?" he whispered to himself, his face twisting into a mask of righteous indignation. Suddenly, a loud thwack echoed from the bathroom, followed by a yelp. Barnaby burst in. "Aha! Caught you red-handed." "Wait, why are you both fully clothed?" Julian was holding his head. Cricket was sprawled in the tub, the curtain draped over her like a plastic shroud. "We were putting up the curtain, Barnaby. I slipped." The landlord blinked, disappointed. "Oh, well, I'm ashamed of myself. I'll go now. I forgot why I came up anyway." However, the slip was worse than they thought. Within an hour, Cricket was seeing double. "Julian, Why are there two of you? Is the other one single? To the hospital,